I have a question, Jake.
What's that?
Would you want to be, like, fishermen together? Like, we could be, like, those big guys who catch like, crabs up in the Alaskan seas or whatever. Do you want to do that?
I'd do that.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
I think it could be fun. A fun thing for us to do. You know what else could be a fun thing for us to do?
What? Start a podcast?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles Lung. With me, as always, is my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jake Gloth. How are you doing today, Jacob?
I'm a swell, my fellow ice fisherman.
Yeah,
Very excited for our soon Arctic journey.
That's gonna be fun.
Soon to be Arctic journey.
It'll be
It'll be great. You know,
yeah.
we're gonna be really cold.
It'll be cold. There's gonna be no women.
Probably gonna be underprepared.
No
very
fresh food except for fish. Very underprepared.
Probably not very good at fishing. Like I've fished a couple times in my life. Maybe.
I fished
24, 2 dozen times.
A handful, like maybe 3 times in my life.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna be really trash.
That's fine. That's fine. That's okay.
I'm not sure I totally remember how to tie the knots and such.
We'll Google it. There's Wi-Fi on the middle of the ocean, right?
Also, I've never sailed a boat before. Do you know how to control the boat?
I've sailed a boat. I've watched plenty of movies.
That's not reassuring.
No, but we've already agreed to do it, so we're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, like I could fish. I think I could remember the knots and stuff, but the whole boat thing, that would be. I mean, that's a whole new experience.
Well, let's just get somebody's dad to show us. Can your dad teach us how to fish and boat?
My dad can fish. I don't know if he knows how. My granddad knew how to sail.
Oh, okay.
He's dead though, so I don't think he's giving me too much use.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not super helpful right now.
Though when he learned how to sail and got a boat, he just went up and got a boat and figured it out how to do it. You know, just by doing it.
That's like an old. That's an
old person thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we could try that. See how it goes.
We could try that. We definitely die.
Hard.
It would just be like news, you know, from a month from now. Every listener, I want you to keep an eye on the news. Just 2 American idiots, you know, found drowned, tied to their boats. They thought that it was like gonna be a scene from Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, where if they flip the boat, they'll go to an alternate dimension. But they just drowned. Or we'll do something. We should
probably be
stupid.
Doing this in northern Canada, by the way, just because they speak English there.
Yeah.
We know they speak English.
How about we go
I don't
somewhere
know about Iceland. Do they? I think they speak something else.
Icelandic, maybe. What if we go somewhere with
Is that a
warm
language
water?
or is that-
You go somewhere where the water's nice. Yeah.
I thought we were doing something cold.
How about we just go to the Bahamas?
Warm if you want.
How about we just?
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
That's very different.
No boat. We just both go to the Bahamas and hang out. Does that sound like a plan?
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Let's do that instead.
All right, cool, great.
Are you paying for this trip?
We'll sell the fish. Sell the fish to pay for the trip. We'll sell all these ideas.
Fishing in the Bahamas? So we're going to the Arctic fishing, and then we're going to the Bahamas, or we're fishing in the Bahamas and they're selling the fish to make up for the money.
No,
spent on the trip.
We're fishing for a streaming service to come take our ideas. For money. That's what we're fishing.
One trip to the Bahamas for both of us. That's what we'll sell the whole catalog for.
Mm-hmm. I reckon our catalog's worth a little bit more than that. I reckon it's worth.
It's probably worth much less.
Yeah. I reckon it's worth a ticket there and a ticket back.
I think that would be a steal if we got that deal.
Yeah, I think so too. So my episode this week, my pitch is a show called Fallin Angels. Fallin Angels, right? So it's spelled...
Not falling up?
No, not falling up. Fallin Angels. So it's spelled
falling up.
Like falling.
Great show, if anyone's wondering.
Yeah, like falling up. Great show. Everyone's favorite show, Falling Up.
I don't remember what it was about. I think there was some time travel involved, an old man and maybe a dog.
Yeah, I
think there was a van.
I think it was a space van, yeah. But this show is not about a space van. It's also Fallin Angels is spelled like falling, but an apostrophe instead of the G. Angels. So like it's
cool, I see.
No, it's like a verb, like the angels are falling, right? So Fallin Angels. And it's about a bar. It's about the Fallen Angel Inn. Fallen spelled like a fallen angel, like Lucifer.
I got it, yeah.
I'm just double checking because the spellings are different on the page, but I'm not sure that they'll be communicated to you. And you make the what do you call it, thumbnails.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why
I've already forgot what you said. So
okay. All right, cool. Well, it surrounds 3 characters, and they are the owner and operator of the Fallin Angel Inn, which is Stacy Flynn. She is a no-nonsense streetwalker who's dedicated to herself after years working in the pits and the slums of the inner world cities. She has saved up a nice little nest egg and moved out to the outer rims, away from the, what was it called, Holy Byzantine Republic. She's moved away from them, and she's gotten her own place, the Fallin Angel Inn, which is a bar, an inn, and a brothel. All right, and she's the like head.
You gotta diversify your income. You know, it can't just be one thing anymore.
Not at all. Well, she's living out in space. You know, she's living out on a weird space desert planet, and so she's gotta kind of have everything. And she's a tough, no nonsense broad. She's smart. She's capable, and she's, you know, a little bit profit obsessed. She cares about money more than most things, right? But more than money, more than anything, she cares about the people she is, you know, in charge of, her employees. 2 of whom include an ex-con / sailor, Arnold Peach, a hard man trying to make a life for himself away from the bureaucracy of the Holy Byzantium Republic. With a distaste for firearms and years of training, he works as local muscle and in the underground boxing ring that's run throughout this town. So Arnold Peach, he's this tough, I imagine him as being kind of like a Charles Bronson type, the prisoner Charles Bronson. So he's a big, burly dude with a shaved head and a mustache, you know? And maybe he doesn't wear a shirt very often, he just wears suspenders. And he is one of the few people in this town who does not carry a gun. He doesn't like guns, but he's also known as the toughest sumbitch this side of the Mississippi. The Mississippi is on the other side of the galaxy, so that's a pretty far way, you know?
That is pretty far.
Yeah, and he's good in a fist fight. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's earnest, he's honest, and he cares for people. Because he's he spent his life bouncing between being a sailor, a tradesman, somebody who just, works on boats, and, maybe he was a pirate for a bit, maybe he worked for the mob for a bit, but he was on the boats, and then he was in jail. And now he's here, and he's trying to make a better life for himself. Okay. And our final character is the bartender of the Fallin Angel Inn, and that would be Dr. Brew.
Dr. Brew.
Dr. Brew. His first name is Doctor. His parents had high hopes for him.
So if he did become a doctor, he'd be Dr. Brew.
Exactly. But everyone just calls him Doc. And he is a happy-go-lucky former priest turned degenerate gambler and smoker who's quick with a joke but always likes to make a quick buck. He's always looking to make a dollar off any rubes that roll into town, but he kind of balances out Stancy, that's her name. He kind of balances out
Stancy,
because it's space-time, so she's got a different name. She can't just be...
Added an N in there.
Yeah, exactly. Stancy. She can't...
What's her last name again? Stancy what?
Flynn.
Flynn. So we can make her... It's not... we make her first name all spacey, but her last name is just Flynn. Normally.
Yeah. And Arnold Peach and Dr. Brew. And yeah, Dr. Brew kind of balances out Stancy's greed with his, he's got a mind for, not for business, but for a mind for talking, I wouldn't call him a con man. I wouldn't say he's a con man. I would say he's just very charismatic.
Well, yeah, he's a former priest, so he probably was good at talking.
Yeah.
Very good at sermons, convincing people of things. Yeah.
Exactly. That was his calling. And then this show is kind of just it's a sort of fun adventure show about these 3 characters and, the surrounding town that the Fallen Angel Inn is in. And just they come into problems and they solve those problems in, a new way. They try and figure out a way to solve the problems. And I like how I want each episode to be like focusing on one of these three characters' problem-solving abilities, right?
Okay.
So, for example, episode 1. Episode 1 is is just an intro to the town. Like, nothing crazy is going on, but it's just, you know, an introduction to the town. Maybe we follow Arnold Peach as he wakes up in his bed, and he gets up and he goes down to the local, you know, general store, and he picks up some things that he needs. He says hi to a girl, you know, that he's got like kind of a thing going on. Maybe they're flirty a little bit, but he's, you know, a little hesitant about it because, again, former criminal, so he doesn't want to pull her into his world in a way. You know, just walking around the town. Then we just do kind of a little montage of just the day throughout the bar. You know, we just do a nice, like, oh, there's a drinking contest that happens between two strangers, and they come in, and Arnold has to throw the loser out through the window, right? But it's a space window, so it just breaks everywhere and then rebuilds itself real quick, because it's fun space sci-fi technology.
Yeah.
He's, you know, Doc is just telling stories. He's, you know, making the pretty girls laugh. He's getting some extra drinks, you know. He's having a quick drink when the boss ain't looking, you know, because he's better when he is. Maybe there's a pool tournament going on, all this stuff, right? And then the end of the day rolls around. Night falls over the town. People just slowly but surely stop, you know, coming into the inn. Then they start leaving the inn. Everybody goes upstairs, you know. The girls, the prostitutes, they take their johns upstairs to go do their business. You know, Doc closes down the bar, and then eventually it gets to, it's just our three main characters. It's Arnold, Doc, and Stancy in the bar area, and they're just, you know, cleaning up. Maybe Arnold's mopping the floor. Stancy is like going through the books, counting up all the numbers, making sure that they didn't lose any, that they made, you know, a profit. Doc's putting the bar away. When all of a sudden, this mysterious stranger, this loner, he wanders out of the night and into the bar. He's not looking, he's looking rough, you know? He's looking kind of like, sort of, in Treasure Planet, or in Treasure Island, you know, Treasure Island, the story, there's that drunken pirate who is, Jim Hawkins' like, first, you know, pirate friend, and he's just like this sad, old, lonely drunk, and he's constantly yelling and all this stuff. That's the same kind of vibe I want to give him. This guy is he's messed up, maybe one of his eyes is gone, he's wearing dirty clothes, looks kind of like he just crawled out of a grave. And, he's there.
Looks like John Wick at the end of every John Wick movie.
At the end of every John Wick movie. Maybe he can even be played by Keanu Reeves, because this is not a returning character, so
Keanu Reeves should totally play a pirate, so that works great.
It does. And so this guy, you know, Doc tries to say no, but, you know, he sees the glint of some metal thing hanging off his hip, off of this loner's hip, and so he says, okay, fine, sir, we'll get you one drink, but then I gotta ask you to leave, because we're closing down. And Stancy, you know, gives Doc a bit of a look, but Doc's like, calm down, you know, I got it. He pours him a strong glass of whiskey, and then tops it up with a bit of water to look like it's more whiskey than it actually is. Because that's just the kind of guy Doc is. And so the man, you know, glugs it down one quick, swift, you know, down the throat, down the old gullet, and then looks up. I'd like another barkeep. Sorry, sir, but we are all finished up for today. Our liquor license kind of expires at midnight. We can't serve anyone past midnight. Click. The loner pulls out a gun so fast you wouldn't even have noticed. Peach couldn't have done anything even if he had noticed. I'd like another. So Doc pours him more drinks, you know, just... And this man, the entire time, he's holding up our three main characters by, at gunpoint, you know, and they're, like, kind of freaked out. Arnold is getting in front of Stancy because he's like, I'm a con, you know, I'm an ex-con. I could take a hit. Maybe we could do at one point, he sneaks up behind the lone gunman, and tries to, knock him out or whatever, but the lone gunman, he's paying attention. He sees him. He shoots Arnold in the foot. Doesn't put him out of the game entirely.
That'd be cool.
But it's just like...
You know how I imagine this? I think it'd be cool if... I don't know if you have him pointing the gun the whole time, but if he just lays the gun on the counter, I feel like that's more intimidating. Mm-hmm. Like, he knows that he can grab the gun and shoot him quick enough.
Yeah.
But he just lays it on the counter, and he keeps pouring him the drinks. And when Peach goes to grab him from behind, he has, another gun in his, coat.
Oh, that's good.
With his other hand, he shoots him in the foot. Mm-hmm. With that. You never even see the gun. It's just inside the coat.
That's good. I like that. Yeah. And so, Peach he's hurt, but he's not down for the count, right? He's still a big, strong, muscular guy. So Stancy, patches him up.
Is this a gun, like bullets, or is this lasers? Or
I was thinking it was an old town
Blade Runner style, where it's...
I get, we could do a Blade Runner style, old-timey cavalry revolver, but we space it up a bit with maybe we put a flashing, display thing on the side, tells you how many bullets you have in it or whatever, but it is ballistic. He's getting shot with bullets, not lasers or anything. And so, Peach, he gets fixed up by Stancy, and Doc decides that, Stancy, she's taking care of Peach, and he's the only one who can get them out of this situation, so he decides, would you like to play a game? Because, again, Doc is a degenerate gambler. So Doc's like, I'll play you, Texas Hold'em. If I win, you leave. You win, you can have everything in the cash register, and you can have as many bottles as you can carry. No one's gonna try and stop you. And the mysterious stranger, he thinks about it for a second, takes another couple of, drinks, and then is like, all right, line her up. So Doc begins playing, and it's a rough game. They're pretty evenly matched in terms of skill, in terms of bluffery, right? All this stuff. And then finally, we get throughout the game. It's sweating. Doc's taking a drink. He's maybe we'll do a nice little time passage of time. We can have an ashtray, and that's got 1 cigarette in it, and that's got 3 cigarettes in it, then 10, then 12. All this stuff.
Yeah.
Just to show time's passing, and it's the last hand. Doc's on his back legs, and he thinks he's got a full hand. He thinks he's unbeatable. There's only 1 or 2 hands in this game that could beat this hand. So he puts it down. He goes all in, all the stuff. Turns out the mysterious stranger has the 1 hand that could beat his. Ooh,
damn,
real shame. And just as the mysterious stranger, he's laughing, he's happy, he takes a cigarette and he takes a draw and he's just smiling. Peach comes up behind him with a brick and knocks him, crushes his skull in. Really quick.
Yeah.
And Stancy's like, oh, well, feed him to the pigs. And that's how the episode ends, is with Doc and Arnold just throwing this dead body into a pig pen as the sun rises up on another day over the Fallin Angels Inn. Because it's the Wild West, and it's a little, and I'm imagining these episodes are probably going to be 15 minutes long. It's not a super long show. Just a little bit of dark comedy at the end. Just to kind of get everyone interested and get everyone introduced to our 3 main characters. And then I have a whole big list of villains and villainous organizations for them to go up against in various exciting ways.
Oh.
Yeah, so our first villain is the Dry Gulch Gang, as it rolls into town one day, and they set up shop. Yeah, they
sound like a bunch of really shitty bandits.
They're the worst. They're quite bad. They're stupid. They're inbred hicks. Maybe Stancy is telling Arnold and Doc all about this. They're a bunch of inbred hicks, but there's a lot of them, and they got a lot of firepower, so play nice. Dry Gulch Gang rolls in, and they set up shop in the inn. They threaten the girls, they beat people up, maybe even Peach, gets in the way of them. They're grabbing the girls, they're not treating them right, Doc's being abused, right? And so Peach steps up, he gets in their way, and there's 12 of them, so they just beat him into a coma or something. Like, they really fuck him up. There's no way he's getting out of this. And so, there's only one thing for Stancy and Doc to do, and that's to find some way to get the Dry Gulch gang out of their inn and out of their lives for good.
Yeah.
And one thing that Stancy knows is exactly where the Dry Gulch gang hangs out usually.
It's in Dry Gulch.
Yeah, it's in Dry Gulch Canyon. Maybe that's what it's called, Dry Gulch
Who
Canyon.
would have thought?
And it's like, why is it
Gulch?
called?
Why do you need to call it? Why do you need to add canyon at the end?
Listen, we watch a lot of movies over here, okay? Listen, why do you think we serve spaghetti at this inn? We love spaghetti westerns, all right? It's delicious and entertaining. I love the Italians. They do the hand thing. You know, the hand thing that Italians do. And so,
Yeah.
Doc and Stancy, while the Dry Gulch gang, maybe Doc slips them a little bit extra something in their whiskey, and the Dry Gulch gang gets really, really drunk, really rowdy, and then they all pass out, and they're good and asleep. And while that's happening, Doc and Stancy, they sneak out and they take, let's say, some like hover bike sort of situations, you know? Like, I don't want it to be a motorcycle per se, or a dirt bike per se, but some sort of a cool, futuristic-y mode of transportation that they, you know, at most you fit 2 people on. Maybe we get a cyber horse. It's just a horse, but it's cybernetic, but it's still got the face of a horse or something. I don't know. Be like horses, like the dogs from the Fallout game series. But it's horses. So they've got like an exposed brain and robotic legs and stuff, but still horse bodies. Yeah, there we go. So they take a cyber horse, they ride it down to Dry Gulch Canyon, and they manage to infiltrate, you know, the Dry Gulch den. And they find a whole lot of treasure. A whole lot of ill-gotten gains. And it's like, well, that must have been where the Dry Gulch gang was heading. You know, that's where they're hiding all their things. All right, cool. So maybe Doc and Stancy fill in their pockets a little bit, but Doc notices there's some pretty high-grade explosives going on. Stancy, she worked on the inner planets for decades, you know, doing all sorts of illegal things, so she knows how to hotwire something. So she and Doc managed to set this whole den up, right, with this remote explosive situation. And they're putting it all together, and they're hiding the remote explosives underneath the gold, right? And then they get back just in time in the morning. They've escaped the den, and they arrive back at the inn. The Dry Gulch gang, they're hungover. Some of them are still kind of drunk, and they're like, well, what happened last night? You guys got really drunk. So drunk, you asked us to call the authority. Well, let's call it the Port Authority. Just for fun. You asked us.
Port Authority.
Yeah, you asked us to call it the Port Authority. You said you wanted to have a final showdown with those, what do you call them again, Doc? Scum-sucking sacks of shit, I believe was the terminology. So we called up the Port Authority. You gave them your address, the den, and told them to meet you there at dawn. It's getting pretty close to dawn. You might want to head over.
Look at that. It's 10 minutes to dawn.
That's crazy. And so all the Dry Gulch gang, they're not really thinking straight because they're all hungover or drunk. Yeah. And so they all get back on their horses, their cyber horses or their hover bikes or whatever, and they just haul ass back to the den. Maybe we get up on, Doc and Stancy get up onto a cliffside, right? And they overlooking Dry Gulch Canyon. They look down at the den and they see all the guys get in. And just as, the final member of the Dry Gulch gang enters the cave that their den is in, kablooey, bing bang bosh, Stacy blows up the whole thing. Kablooey.
Damn. Got him.
And we are led to believe that the whole of the Dry Gulch gang is dead. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Who knows?
To believe. Ooh.
Who knows? And then we can end the episode with Peach waking up out of his coma and them explain to him that, oh yeah, well, because maybe he was like, I don't want to kill people. Maybe we can give Peach because he kills somebody in the first episode, so forget I said that. But they explained to Peach what goes down. And he's like, oh, that was pretty smart. You mean you two came up with that plan all by yourself? Maybe I'm not the brains of this operation. They all have a big laugh. And that's the
I guess they're the ones that are dry after all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Haha,
They're dead and they can't drink anymore.
They're dry bones.
And then the other two are like, that was a terrible joke. Why would you say that?
And he's like, I just got, and he's like,
I've been through a lot, okay? Jeez.
my brain still,
Not at the
I'm,
top of my game. Just laugh, okay?
me am not functioning properly. And he falls back asleep. Episode 3 is the Dry Gulch gang, not the Dry Gulch gang, the Fallen Angels Inn has to contend with the Owners Guild, which is
Owners Guild.
the Owners Guild, which is a subsidiary corporation of the Holy Byzantium Republic, which is the Owners Guild is responsible for incorporating all unincorporated planets into the Republic, and whether that be by force, by bribery, whatever, that's their job, is to incorporate all planets that they think would be useful into the Republic. Emphasis on they think it would be useful.
Useful. They're gonna have to prove that it's not useful. at the end of the episode.
Exactly. So this band of agents gets in and they start, sizing everything up, and they determine that this planet would actually be very useful to them, serve as a nice trading post, and blobbity blobbity bloobity blobbity, right? And Doc decides, well, we need to prove that they're not useful. And so this episode is going to be a trial episode. I love a trial episode of any TV show.
I love trial episodes.
So Doc is going to, because he's a former priest turned bartender, so he's very good at talking. And he's going to, build this sort of, old southerny, think To Kill a Mockingbird, Inherit the Wind style, right? Like old-timey southern courthouse. And throughout the trial, they're going to prove, Doc is going to prove, beyond a reasonable doubt, that this planet is a complete and utter waste of time. And he'll, maybe he'll, shit talk all of the people on, the planet, or, everyone in the town. They'll talk about how there's no resources here, how every one of the people who lives here is a xenophobic, lunatic, gun-wielding, narcissist who's totally obsessed with profit and nothing else. To incorporate this planet would be to, be the same as incorporating a giant fucking, a giant ball covered in angry mites. A giant, tumbleweed. A giant tumbleweed full of scorpions. There you go. And so, he successfully convinces the Owners Guild to leave. And he's, super happy with himself. He turns around, he's expecting this big hurrah from everyone in the town. But they've all got, bats and torches and pitchforks.
Now they want to kill him.
And Peach and Stancy are sitting there just, hitting their fists against their hands, cracking knuckles and shit. And he's like, but I got them off our backs. Uh-huh. You sure did, pal. Come over here, and we'll show you how happy we are for you. And the episode
party.
And the episode ends with him just running through the desert as 24 people are chasing after him into the night. Yeah.
Can I add an element to that?
Yeah, of course.
I think it'd be funny if he makes it sound like the place is so terrible that they're like, okay, well, we're gonna destroy the planet. That's really the only option here. This place is so bad we have to wipe it off the universe.
Yeah.
But then he argues that it's so bad that they shouldn't even destroy it. It's not worth the resources to destroy the planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
And that's what really upsets the people. They're not even worth destroying. That's how bad they are.
Mm-hmm. And maybe Peach is all about fighting these guys, and maybe Stancy is all about let's just pay them off and they'll leave us alone or whatever. And Doc is like, no, I think I got it. And it ends with them just being like, we're gonna kick your ass, man. Fuck you. Because everything that he says is going to be true. It's just going to be a hyperbole. But, yeah, I think that's a good episode. What else? Oh, yeah, this episode I'm excited about. So, episode 4. The team, that is to say, Stancy, Doc, and Peach, receive this band that's coming into town, right? Maybe they get a letter, you know, in the space mail or whatever, and this band called the Bloodsuckers, they're coming into town. And they were, like, hoping that they could trade, you know, some performances for, like, a meal and a night, right? At the inn. And Stancy, at first, is kind of hesitant to trade, you know, music for food and drink and stuff. But Peach is able to convince her, because he's a huge music fan. He spent, you know, however many years in prison not being able to listen to music. And so he loves music. And so he convinces that he is able to convince her to let them stay. The band gets in, and there's like these 3, you know, kind of pale looking dudes, you know, in punk kind of goth outfits, lots of leather, big heavy boots. They've got a guitar, drummer, another guitar, lyricist, right? And they're just like, right? And at first, Stancy is kind of, she's not enthusiastic about this band, but they perform and they have like this hypnotic effect on the crowd, right? Everyone loves this band, this punk rock band. And, you know, they're making more money than ever. Everyone's coming out. You know, people are, you know, going up to the brothels, and they're making sure that they, you know, finish extra quick so they can go back down to the floor to see the band, that sort of thing. And it's like almost a hypnotic thing. But, you know, so everyone's really happy, but something strange is happening. People keep going missing. Like throughout town, you know, just people that everyone knows and everyone sees are around, they just keep disappearing. It's very odd. And Doc and Peach decide that they're gonna look into it, because they think that the band has something to do with it. Because Peach loves music, but this is odd. Maybe he's not a big fan of punk rock, for example. He's not a big fan. And so Peach and Doc, they investigate, and they're able to, you know, follow the band, follow the people, you know, investigate who's gone missing recently, and they're able to discover that the band, these punk rockers, are actually vampires.
Oh my god, are you kidding
no,
me?
my lord, these are punk rock vampires, and they've set up this underground coven underneath the town. They've been kidnapping people, turning them into vampires, and they have this huge nest underground. And Peach is able to figure out that they gain their power from their hypnotic music. They're able to use their powers of hypnotic suggestion and pair that with the music in order to, you know, get this whole town enamored with them. And he figures that the only way that you can defeat punk rock is with the exact opposite of punk rock: smooth jazz. And so Arnold Peach goes down into the middle of the coven with a huge speaker, and he just starts playing his jazz. Like, he starts playing the saxophone, and it's really smooth, and it's nice and melodic and good. And, you know, one by one, the vampires, they begin turning back. It's like this horrific, you know, reaction to the music, and they're just like, you know, all the blood fizzles out of the holes in their necks, and it's like bubbling and burbling out of them, and they're like, they're gray, and it slowly, you know, comes out of the neck as their color returns to their skin. And then the 3 final punk rock vampires, they come down, and they're like, what is this? But Peach is able to, he destroys them. There's a battle of the bands between the punk rock vampires and Arnold Peach, but his jazz is powerful enough to defeat the vampires, and they explode into like a big pile of ash. And you know, along with the instruments and everything. And they're like, well, that's the end of that adventure. We defeated the punk rock vampires. Oh my god. Wasn't a very good idea anyway. That's what they say at the end.
Yeah, that's what he says at the end. 2 things I just want to say real quick. The first one I don't know, maybe you want to do a piano instead, because I hate to be a dick, but really, jazz, like, rock evolved from jazz, so they're not really opposites, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I had piano written down here originally,
Maybe
but then
a
I was...
keyboard or a violin, maybe?
Yeah, oh, maybe a violin. I hadn't thought about it. Yeah, he gets a violin, and he just fucking shreds it.
Shreds,
Yeah, that'd be good. I like that.
And the other idea was, it would be, if you wanted to set this up beforehand, you could set it up in like the second episode where they introduce the band. And as in the episodes preceding this, more and more people, like the extras that we see in the bar, are disappearing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I like that.
We'll have like side comments like, Bill's not in today. That's weird.
Yeah.
Just to build it up, you know.
Yeah, I like that. You know, maybe they're at the trial. The Bloodsuckers, the band, is at the trial, and they're just like, you know, looking kind of, you know, suspicious and angry because they're like, the Owners Guild comes here. Well, then they'll own our coven, and that's not good, you know? So,
yeah.
And
there's like, there's not a ton of people, and maybe the Owners Guild's like, wow, there's more people on your census than there is here. Like this, like there's just a random comment about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Build up in the background, little background, storytelling.
You could have a shot where there's like a mirror and you don't see the vampires in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, classic. Vampires don't
just like randomly in episode 2, and people will be like, "Wow, like they really fucked up the animation or the thing in this, like the live action in this. Like you can't see the band in the mirror.
You just see
what a shit show.
You just see the instruments playing,
and then you'd be like, "Oh fuck, wow, that's cool that they did that."
We were using our brains and thinking ahead like a couple of cool guys and gals. Gals are allowed to be involved in the production of this show.
That's what you call foreshadowing.
Yeah, baby. Let me look. Okay, I have 2 more villains for our 3 heroes to combat. So what would you like to hear about first? The Holy Liquor Authority or the Constellation family?
Constellation family. I got a feeling they're a cult.
Well, no, actually. But this episode starts out with Arnold Peach, right? He's a hard, tough man, and he is recently, to make a little bit of money on the side, he's been participating in an underground boxing ring that's been happening in the town. Stancy doesn't know about it, but Doc does, because, again, degenerate gambler, so he always bets on Arnold, because he's the best fighter in town, right? And so this episode starts. He's fighting the Peach. The Peach is fighting. He's winning. He's knocking guys out left, right, and center. And he, you know, kind of gets a little tired of it. He's like, maybe I should stop fighting. You know, a little bit of I make enough money as it is. I don't need any more money. I don't even know why I'm fighting. And just as he's thinking about quitting, these besuited men. These men with big boxy suits get off
besuited?
of a...
Is that a word?
Yeah, besuited.
Never heard anyone say besuited.
Like bespectacled.
Bespectacled.
If it's not a word, I just invented it, and I want my name in the dictionary.
Okay.
They do that, right? Anyone who invents a word, you get your name in the dictionary, like credits at the back.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Shakespeare's name is in every dictionary, probably every English language dictionary. But these besuited men in nice like hats, you know, fedoras. One of them he's got big rings, you know, and he has everybody kiss those rings, right, when he gets off the thing. They get off of a transport ship and they show up in this small town, and they're like, huh. We've heard of a great fighter, an Arnold Peach, and we wanna speak with him. Turns out,
an Arnold Pear or an Alfred Pear.
Alfred Pear? Yeah, I think we can hook you up with somebody like that. We just bring out somebody who looks vaguely like him. Cause
there's another guy named Alfred Pear.
Yeah, and they shoot him. No, and it turns out that this is Arnold Peach when he was a criminal. This was the mob family that he worked for, the Constellation family. This is an intergalactic mafia. And they have come to return to, collect on some debts.
that
he's owed them, right? And so he begs.
Is he a former hitman, or does he owe them money?
He worked for them as a former hitman, but he betrayed them. Exactly, betrayed them. He didn't do a job properly, right? He lied to them. Maybe he said he killed somebody who he didn't, like a kid or something, so he's not like a bad guy. And then they want their, return on investment. They paid him, they want the money back plus interest. And right, he goes through all of his savings and everything, and he doesn't have enough money. And they said, all right, well, we'll do you a favor, just this once, because I always had a fondness for you, Peach. Maybe it's that's what the mafia head guy says. I always had a fondness for you, Peach. We'll do a boxing ring. You'll do a fight. One last fight for us. Maybe he was a mafia boxer. That could be a thing, like Bruce Willis in Pulp Fiction, right? He fought for the mob. But everyone in this town knows you're the best fighter in the best fighter this side of the Mississippi. So, during this fight, you're gonna take a dive. Right? That's how the mafia is planning on making all their money back. Is that they're gonna get him to take a dive, even though he is obviously would win the fight if it was a fair fight. And so Peach is confronted with this decision. Do I sacrifice my my integrity as not only as a boxer, but as a man, as a citizen of this town? Do I sacrifice my integrity, or do I sacrifice my life, possibly, to these men, these boxing men, right? Whatever.
Yeah, the mob.
The mob. And he decides, maybe he tells them, yeah, I'll take a dive, whatever, right? But he decides last minute he's not going to take a dive. He's not that kind of a guy. And he knocks whoever they brought in out. It's like an Ivan Drago style guy. It's this huge dude. And he just knocks him out, lays him out on the ground after a grueling 12 round fight. Both of them have huge, bloody lips. Their eyes are, swollen shut, that sort of thing. They're just wailing into each other. And Arnold Peach thinks to himself, enough is enough. And he just puts him out on the ground. Really lays him out. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna, this is what I get. I'll take what I've earned, right? You guys are gonna kill me, well then kill me. And just as, Arnold Peach is standing there in front of a brick wall, right? It's the classic mafia thing. They've got the headlights pointed out and they all pull out Tommy guns. All of a sudden Doc runs in. Wait. And he puts the money down. All of the money that Arnold owed the mob, plus all the money they would have made off of this fight, right? It's just like this huge stack of money. He puts it down and says, you take this and you leave my friend alone. And Arnold and the mafia, they're annoyed. They're pissed off, but they decide, whatever, this isn't worth it. They take the money and they leave. And Arnold, he's touched, because he's never known Doc to be one who's frivolous with money. But Doc says, yeah, I made that because I bet that you would knock him out in the 12th round. Like he made the money off of that fight. So he's like, it's really not that big a deal. But maybe he doesn't tell them that. And then they, walk off into the sunset. Like, Arnold puts his arm around Doc and they, let's get you to the medic, buddy. And he takes him, walks him into the medics. Right? That's the end of the episode. And our final episode that I have written out here is the Fallin Angels Inn comes up against the Holy Liquor Authority, which is another arm of the Holy Byzantium Republic, which is all about regulating the sale of liquor throughout the universe, so throughout the galaxy. And how they do this is that they only allow the sale of liquor to happen in in places and institutions that are, follow the holy rhetoric. Right? And it's like this crazy religion that's like kind of a mishmash of like hundreds of Earth religions all put into one. And so
Yeah.
This episode is a bit more comedic, as like they're trying to trick the Holy Liquor Authority into believing that this inn is a religious institution that, you know, follows all of the religious laws, and it's just kind of a funny thing. It's like, oh yeah, of course, this is where we sacrifice the chickens, and it's just like the piano where the piano player plays, and it's like, well, show us how you do it, and they pull out a chicken, and they just like have to slam the thing that, you know, the thing that goes over the keys of a keyboard, or you know what I mean, like the little like latch door thing.
What are you talking about?
When you're playing a piano, there's like the little thing that comes down over the keys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they just have to slam that over and over again until they decapitate the chicken.
Oh, jeez.
And they're like, yeah, see, this is how we do it. We love our religion. Here you are. Here's the chicken head, body. You know, it's a whole thing. It's like that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where they have to trick the, what do you call it? The health inspector into believing that this is a healthy, you know, restaurant, even if it's not. And that's just the whole episode. That's why I had that one last, because I didn't have as much written for it. But yeah, that's my show, Fallin Angels. You got any notes, any ideas?
I think I tossed in most of the ones that I was thinking of.
All right.
The crossover potential, because it's in space, pretty nice. We could have Mr. David S. Biscuits come by and sell them biscuits in one episode.
I was thinking
just in the
about
background, you know, not even like, not really part of the episode, just like you can see him in the back of the bar trying to sell somebody biscuits, and then maybe Doc yells like, "Get your no cookie sale! Don't bring outside food in here. Get out of here!
Yeah, get out of here! You have to buy the food here." And it's just the same biscuits, but they're like $3 more.
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah, maybe we could have the Galaxy Crunch snake oil salesman, you know, and it's just the snake oil cart that comes into town, but it's the Galaxy Crunch crew, and they're like, yeah, we've been stranded for so many years. Help! And they're like, get out of here. We don't want you. We don't want your crappy cookies. Yeah. And Sam, wait, what was the name of the robot in Galaxy Crunch?
The robot in Galaxy Crunch. Kyle.
Kevin. Yeah, Kevin.
No, it was Kyle. Kyle. K-Y-L-O.
Okay. Kyle is like their horse, and he's pulling the thing, and they've got a Galaxy Crunch bar on like a string in front of him. Or something like that. I don't know. But yeah. That's my show, Fallin Angels.
Isaac Illich could be at the bar.
Could be at the bar. He's at every bar.
Couple episodes. Mm-hmm.
I think he's at every bar that we ever do. You know, any bar scene, he'll be in the background.
There's always him at the bar.
Yeah. Whoever we cast as Isaac Illich will have just...
It's gonna get so much work.
It's just a never-ending career. It's like Robert Downey Jr., but without nearly as much money. You can always come back for a paycheck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
What's even be funny is if any of these shows ever do get made, it's certainly not going to be the Isaac Illich show, so no one will understand why this guy's in every single thing.
But I think if any of these shows get made, I think that opens the floodgate for all of them to get made. Mm-hmm. Like, I think if Red Strings gets made, for example, because I really like Red Strings, I think if Red Strings gets made, what will happen is, like, people will all listen back to the backlog, and they'll be just, like, online petitions. Be like, let's make journos, let's make human meat, let's make you know, shoot me last, or don't forget to bribe the refs, or whatever.
Yeah, falling up.
But yeah, thank you everyone for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. 3 feet deep. I've been your host, Charles Long, with always is Res Publica, season 4. With me, so
season 4, which it might be coming soon, might not. I need to read the book again because I don't really remember what happened.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
So probably like in a year or two, you'll get Res Publica season 4.
Good. I want it I want all of it. Like all 18 seasons or whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 5, I think.
Okay. Oh, that's fair. That's a reasonable, healthy amount. I've been your...
Unless I go crazy, I just keep going. I do all of Roman history forever.
And then you just move up to like modern day Italy. You know, that's how...
The show's still called Res Publica, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Where was I?
We're leaving. Bye.
This has been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, or podcasting co-host, Jacob Gloth. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, please give us a like, a follow, subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell your cat. And remember, we will be here next week with a brand new TV show for you to imagine and enjoy. As always, I've been Jake Gloth.
And I have been Charles Long.
And you guys have a good day.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.